For Francis, confused, embarrassed, and anxious, it was the first time. The fear of sin had accompanied him for all of his 23 years of life. He lingered a little longer, hesitating like a child. Maria Sophia was waiting for him, but overwhelmed by the exhaustion of such a tense day, she suddenly fell asleep. Only then, silently and almost on tiptoe, did Francis enter and lie beside her on the bed. He was too shy to wake his bride. It was their first night together, but the following ones in Bari followed the same pattern. Francis could not overcome his embarrassment. Maria Sophia was born and raised in Bavaria, the daughter of Duke Maximilian of the Wittelsbach family. He had married his cousin Ludovica. Their marriage began romantically, but was later overshadowed by Maximilian's temper and numerous affairs, which ultimately led him to abandon the family. Maria Sophia, the fifth of 8 children, was closest to her sister Elizabeth, future Empress Sisi. The sisters were inseparable. They rode horses, swam, practiced fencing, and even climbed mountains together. Her father called Maria Sophia his little sparrow. She was thin, tall, with long fingers, though she was not at all fragile. Her family loved her for her lively and independent nature. Maria Sophia's betrothed was the heir to the throne of the two Sicilies, Francis II, at that time the Duke of Calabria. He liked her portrait, and when she received a miniature of him, she only cautiously inquired about rumors of a supposedly ill eye, rumors that were tactfully denied. Her dowry was modest, only 25,000 ducats. The real treasure was the beautiful and fertile princess herself. News of her extraordinary beauty spread quickly throughout Naples. That was enough for the groom. During the proxy wedding, and then upon meeting in person, Maria Sophia made an impression. Beautiful, with long chestnut hair, in a white dress adorned with orange blossoms and a childlike expression. When they met on the ship, she was the first to extend her hand and greeted her fiancé in French. "Bonjour, François." He kissed her forehead, replying a bit awkwardly. At court, small intrigues began. Her ladies-in-waiting argued over who would comb the young duchess's hair, and during their travels there was mild chaos. The meeting with the royal family was moving. Francis mostly stayed silent while his mother Maria Theresa spoke for him. Maria Sophia immediately noticed the beauty of the surroundings. King Ferdinand II shed tears upon seeing her, moved by her loveliness, embracing his daughter-in-law, who couldn't hold back her own tears. Evening fell, and Queen Maria Theresa escorted Francis and Maria Sophia to the door of their chamber. She kissed them and left them alone. The lady-in-waiting, Nina Rizzo, entered to prepare the bride, while Francis waited in the anteroom. Shortly afterward, Rizzo informed him the bride was ready. For Francis, still confused, embarrassed, and anxious, it was the first time. The fear of sin had haunted him for all of his 23 years. He hesitated again, as if afraid of a trial, and continued to pray. Maria Sophia waited, then, overcome with fatigue, she suddenly fell asleep. Only then did Francis, silent and on tiptoe, enter and lie beside her on the bed. He was too embarrassed to wake his bride. He likely fell asleep very late himself. It was their first night, but the next ones in Bari followed the same scenario. Francis couldn't overcome his hesitation. The honeymoon passed entirely in white linens. The maids could not find a single red spot on the dirty bed linens or the nightgown from the very first night. This was the beginning of Maria Sophia's concern. At first, she didn't ask questions, but later she began discussing it with her lady-in-waiting Nina Rizzo. The problem was only resolved 2 months later. Rizzo spoke of the couple's issues to Father Nicola Borelli, who convinced Francis to overcome his embarrassment. But even then, their intimacy remained difficult. Francis had phimosis and postponed surgery until their exile in Rome. Meanwhile, Maria Sophia enjoyed horseback riding, being photographed and speaking with her subjects, quickly earning their affection. In their family life, she accepted her husband's eccentricities, his devotion to prayer and confession. While he tolerated her passion for walks, dogs, and parrots, she taught to speak German. They learned to respect each other's freedom. But in truth, Maria Sofia realized she was happier alone than with her strange and dull husband. Their personal relationship never truly developed. He was cold, afraid of becoming a sinner. Maria Sofia entertained herself with fishing, tried cooking, though her frittata never came out right. Her lady-in-waiting Nina Rizzo consoled her, often joking that she'd return to Bavaria if she could. At first, Maria Sofia felt constrained. Her mother-in-law constantly watched her, instructed her on how to behave, and scolded her for rare prayers. Holidays brought her particular joy. At the San Carlo Theater, she was welcomed with ovations, glittering in diamonds and elegant gowns. In Capodimonte, she and Francis would laugh and play like children. Once, he even put on a crinoline and danced around her, laughing at his own antics. Even amidst political turmoil, she remained composed, swam, rode horses, and set an example of calm for Neapolitans. Her role in supporting her husband during difficult times was widely recognized. Maria Sofia knew how to be lively, open, and yet resilient. On May 22, 1859, Ferdinand II died. Francis became king. There was no love between the spouses, but Maria Sofia fulfilled her role as queen with dignity. On October 9, 1860, the Sardinian army entered the territory of the Two Sicilies without declaring war. Instead of supporting the legitimate government, Piedmont sent troops to the opponents of the Bourbons. 2,000 regular soldiers of Victor Emmanuel II were already present in Naples. On October 21st, a referendum was held to officially confirm the annexation of the Two Sicilies, but it was accompanied by manipulation and violations. Francis II and Maria Sofia found themselves isolated in Gaeta. Maria Sofia visited hospitals, comforted the wounded, and distributed food. She refused to leave the fortress at Gaeta despite her husband's urgent pleas, demonstrating rare heroism. She had no fear of being in the heart of military action. It is said that once a lieutenant had to push the queen aside by force to protect her from an approaching bomb, and that she calmly brushed the dust and sand from her dress with one hand after the explosion. When she was speaking with the Spanish ambassador Salvatore Bermudez de Castro near the window of his palace, the blast wave shattered the glass, cutting her with shards. She reportedly said, "The enemy is rude. He leaves me no peace anywhere. First he drove me from one room, now from this one. I wish I could receive at least a small wound." Maria Sofia earned the admiration of European courts. Newspapers wrote about her as the Heroine of Gaeta. Empress Eugénie of France tried to persuade the queen to leave the dangerous place, but Maria Sofia refused. In February of 1861, Francis and Maria Sofia left Gaeta. In the streets, people wept and tried to touch the queen's hand. The king and queen went to Terracina, then to Rome, where Pope Pius IX gave them rooms in the Quirinal Palace. There, Maria Sofia soon encountered intrigue and gossip. Her relationship with her mother-in-law, the Dowager Queen Maria Theresa, was tense. In Rome, Maria Sofia tried to maintain her usual lifestyle: horseback riding, shooting practice, and walking with her dog. However, rumors and jealousy surrounding her popularity cast a shadow over her stay. Maria Sofia and Francis's marriage remained unconsummated due to Francis's medical condition, and their relationship was cold. In her loneliness and disappointment, Maria Sofia fell in love with Armand de Lavesse, an officer of the Papal Guard. In April of 1862, she learned she was pregnant. To avoid scandal, under the pretext of needing to recover her health, she traveled to Bavaria and settled at the convent of St. Ursula in Augsburg. There, on November 24, 1862, she gave birth to a daughter who was called Daisy. The child was immediately entrusted to a foster family, Count and Countess de Gineste, who lived in Tarn. Maria Sofia maintained contact with her daughter until the girl's death in January of 1886. According to other accounts, the father of the child might have been the Spanish diplomat Salvador Bermudez de Castro, Duke of Ripalda and Santa Lucia, a frequent guest in Maria Sofia's home, and rumored to have had a romance with her sister. However, Levesque later acknowledged paternity, and Maria Sophia confessed her infidelity to her husband. This may have spurred him to finally undergo surgery. A daughter was later born in their lawful marriage, but sadly she did not survive. Over time, Maria Sophia became known across Europe as a symbol of beauty and courage. She was showered with gifts, silver boxes, albums, and jewelry, tokens of recognition for her bravery. Even years later, Maria Sophia remained in the spotlight, despite the hardships of exile and life's many blows. Her name became legendary, the beautiful queen who remained courageous despite losing her throne. Italy had become unified under King Victor Emmanuel II. As a passionate huntress, Maria Sophia acquired a hunting lodge in England. One day, she invited her sister, Empress Elizabeth of Bavaria, to a horseback hunt. Elizabeth proved to be a more skilled rider than Maria Sophia, stirring her jealousy. Frustrated, Maria Sophia told her nephew, Archduke Rudolph, that his mother was allegedly having an affair with her riding instructor, Captain Bay Middleton. The rumor quickly reached Elizabeth, who broke ties with her sister and began to avoid her. The two never reconciled. Francis died in 1894. Maria Sophia passed away in Munich of pneumonia in 1925 at the age of 83. Her remains now rest in Naples beside her husband and daughter. She witnessed the transformation of Europe. Dynasties fell, and new tyrants rose to power. During the First World War, she took a stand against Italy. Nevertheless, she visited prisoner of war camps, holding Italian soldiers in Germany. She never revealed that she was the legendary last queen of the two Sicilies. To the soldiers, she was simply a kind old woman who spoke several languages and donated books and food.